PI to YouTube, preparing to live stream. And it's setting up my meeting for YouTube Live. So I'll have also YouTube Live. Of course, it will be slightly delayed because of going to another server. And many times, as we said, right, sometimes those servers are not up, they're down. And sometimes we have to wait, just like some of us sometimes have Wi-Fi access problems and we just have to come back online and we can continue. And Poppy, can we see your face? We got like half of your face. You almost look like for an eye, eye makeup commercial, just show you've done nice eyes today, but you can just show your eyes, but you can show your entire face. Okay. That could be another brand, right? Where you're going to just show your eyes and give instructions. I think that all those influencers make money on that, right? They're showing how they can do their eyes somehow. That's not my forte. Okay. So we're there. We're ready to go. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be going through some more, a bit more topics for this class. I'm going to be covering business analytics with you, talking about how to get data, looking at the past, present, and future. We'll be talking about that. I'll also be relaying some ERP. We talked about it last time, enterprise resource planning, and also what are the trends in AI. We'll cover what's due for next time. And I'll also take a look at your projects, give you some more guidance on your project, and we'll continue. So if there are any comments that you have or you want me to address, please feel free to put something in the chat. And we have Lily and Isabel are checking our chat. And then we have our illustrious teaching assistant, Sebastian. I guess you know that you can contact him directly for any homeworks. And Sebastian, have you already graded the BAPI or you're in the process? What's the situation on that?
Process of grading.
Pardon? Process? Okay, of grading the last assignment. Okay, we're ready to begin. So let me share my screen as usual. I share my screen. You can see that we are live on YouTube. And you can see that we can basically make that for branding purposes as well. So let me maximize my browser. And as usual, I want to go to the what's due section and we'll see what's in the what's due section. If I look at the assignment today is April 14th, and you have your final project, part 3, needed to be done on April 14th. Some of you had issues. For instance, Fastbot server was down for a time. Your responsibility on any issues is, like one of our students did, is they documented it. But then after you had those issues, for instance, as servers coming down, you need to try again. I had the same thing with BAPI voice API voice agent. I had one time when I called it and the server was down and no one answered the phone. So all of this is dependent, as we say in cloud services, we're dependent on someone else to make sure that their servers are up and running. You can see how that's going to be so important to have even backup and other facilities, because as a business, you could lose money if people don't get you on the phone, don't see you online, that it can be an issue. You'll see also Business analytics, I'll go over that today. And these are two articles, especially I'll go over this ERP with you today and also the business analytics. Looking in the future, on April 21st, which is a week from Monday, we'll have an in-person exam. As I mentioned before, you need to bring your laptop as a backup with respondents in it. Of course, all of you usually bring your phone anyways. You need your phone. You'll be needing to log in with respondents, and you need to know your password. Some students were having issues with, now they've upgraded to Authenticator. I had issues, and I had to call our security representative, the head of our cybersecurity, to help me with some of my issues that I had. So just because I'm a professor doesn't give me any more cred or getting issues that I had to follow up, and I had to escalate my issues rather than that first level had to create it to the security. Okay, so that is the issues on that. Any questions? We'll discuss more in detail. I'll do a review this Wednesday for the exam. You have, of course, in your PowerPoint documents, you have your review, you have your exam review, where you have your articles. These articles and our lectures will be part of the open-ended assignment, open-ended questions. Here are the multiple choice. It's covering, as I mentioned before, two of the chapters from last exam, chapters 5 and 4, the database, the data and security, cloud, artificial intelligence, information systems, enterprise ERP, and also business analytics that we'll be covering today. And at the very end, you'll see these are examples from open-ended questions that could be asked for the exam. The open-ended questions, I'd like you to do just details, just bullet points, will not get full credit. So it has to reflect that you've answered those questions in a comprehensive way. Okay, so that is that part. Let me go back to what's due. If you look at what's due, I want to make sure that you understand that in this article here on SAP product, what is ERP? We went over this last week. And if I open this in a new tab, and if you want to, you can open it yourself just to make sure it works, but you can see it with me as well. This is by a company which is called SAP, which has dealt with statistics all the time. But these are the core. I like this article because this is really a nice review of what ERE is, what's its purpose, and basically when you think about it, ERP stands for what, Ariana? Enterprise Resource Planning. And enterprise is basically like a large business. You can think about it. We know, Ariana, what? The university is an enterprise, right? You agree with me, Ariana? An enterprise is a university. What does a university have? It has to plan based on all its resources, right? And basically, this software system then helps organization then streamline all their business processes. And what are their business processes include? Finance. So if you think about the university, what could it possibly be, right? Is all the finance in terms of all the tuition it receives, all the grant monies it receives. It needs to pay its vendors. It needs to pay its employees, HR, human resourcing. We don't have to worry about manufacturing, but supply chain, basically when we order, we have to take care of the tracking, we have to take care of the sales, procurement, and also in ERP, you can put a note here is that every organization, since they're different, doesn't necessarily have to have all the same modules, and they may then get an ERP based, and they usually do, based on their industry. So the university gets a version of their ERP based on what, Ariana? The university, right? They want to have, are they similar to other higher ed universities? Yes. They may have different branding, right? And they may be better in some areas than others, but all higher ed basically follows the same source. What do they have? They all have students, they all have faculty, they all have basically needs that they need to take care of their students and employees. So you can think about this introduction and the history of ERP, but really when you think about the introduction of the ERP, and I have finance majors and I have accounting majors, that's where it started from. And then if I look at where it went to, they added in the beginning accounting and finance. Then they added on sales. And then in this case, you can think about they could be following students, right? Purchasing, definitely they have purchasing basically in the 80s they had not only purchasing, but in terms of if you were manufacturing, they were really big for manufacturers. For us, it doesn't matter, but that's where they did. Then they had what they call client server issues, where they extended it to real time, and CRM. CRM, if we think about what CRM is CRM stands for, let me just get my customer, let me just make that sure that you understand that, customer relationship management. So if you can put that, Lily, in the chat, CRM stands for customer relationship management. So who are our customers here? Is our potential students? Who are our customers here? Is our current students? Who are our customer? Is our alumni? Who are our customers? Is probably donors. And real time. And then it conceded, and then multinational, it became ERP if I have different campuses. I have different campuses in Miami, but I could have different campuses around the world. And then in the 2000s, we started talking about ERP for the internet, dashboards, what we know. And notice here, it's cloud computing. Rather than hosting it ourselves on premise, we ended up hosting it before. So here are examples, and you can read this on your own. And we would be more service-centric. And how it works, basically, you can think about it. How it works is it gives you a dashboard based on your role, and you can see basically the analytics, and you can see basically dashboard based on what you can see. You can see what are my incoming sales, what are my increasing sales order, what do I have in back order, what are my profit margins. So you can see that as well. And you can see here that you also in ERP have something called that integration of platform as a service. And if I think about platform as a service, in this case, Soren, what would you say? Because you need this for the next exam too, of open-ended, and also for a test. What is as a service means that it's cloud-based. And what does platform mean? We have software, and then we also have infrastructure. Infrastructure is hardware. Software as a service is my regular application software, just like Blackboard, just like Zoom. What else? Gmail, Fastbot. What's platform as a service? Do you know, Soren? And if you don't, what do you have to do, right?
Search it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like ChatGPT,
No, not exactly.
No?
Platform, you can think about it. Platform is, and put this in your notes then, Soren. It's good that we review. Platform is like an operating system.
Oh, like Google Chrome?
Exactly. Well, Google Chrome, and also it's like Mac OS, it's like iOS, it's like Windows. So listen, if let's say we wanted to run a Windows application, and we, instead of us getting Windows machines or putting Windows on all our machines on campus, what we could do is platform as a service. We could dial in, or we could go on the internet and have Windows work. And then notice here on-prem, Lily, on-premise, what's another word for on-premise? Lily.
I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of connectivity issues right now, so
Okay. Have you heard of on-premise?
Not, I mean, on premise meaning like on the site. I was trying
On
to.
the site. So Briggs, when we are in Zoom and you want to record, you have two ways to record in Zoom. What are the two ways?
To the cloud or to your desktop.
Okay. So given those are the two ways, he said on the cloud or to your computer or to your desktop. So which one do you think on premise means? To the computer or to the cloud? When you see Briggs on premise, you see this word here? Yes, no, Briggs.
I was to your desktop.
Exactly. So put that in your notes, Briggs. On premise, everybody put in your notes. Christian, put in your notes there. On premise means on our site. It means that we gain it on our site. So on premise may not be on your desktop, but on premise means that the organization is hosting it. We don't go through the internet. Versus it's on premise. So for instance, Blackboard, Christian, Blackboard, we used to host on premise. What does that mean? The University of Miami used to have computers, and on their computers, they installed Blackboard. And our students went to our computers on Blackboard to gain access to Blackboard. And then they shifted to what, Christian? Instead of on premise, what did they shift to?
Now we're off premise, like the cloud.
They shifted to the cloud, right? Where Blackboard will host the software. So that's like software as a service. Makes sense, Christian? So you can see here, even though this is on ERP, think about this on premise. Most of the time, software now is not on premise, it's where? In the cloud. When you think about your email, when you think about your social media, when you think about Zoom, they're all in the cloud. But there's still certain software that companies say, I want it on premise. I want more control. So just like we talked about it before, someone had a problem with FastBots, it was because it was on cloud and it was there. So they're just talking about it. And here, these are like anything else in my software or my newer software is what I want. I want higher productivity. And this is for ERP. This is for AI. This is for cloud, higher productivity, deeper insights. So instead, what does deeper insights mean? I can have the whole university, because what's the problem? If in this case, Jael, if you were basically the president and I were the provost of the university, we really don't know in detail what's happening in the School of Business, the School of Law, what's happening in communication, what's happening in housing. It'd be impossible, right? So what we're going to do is on these ERP, they're going to give us deeper insights in what we call eliminate information silos. What does it mean, silo? That let's say the School of Business and the Department of Business Technology, we have data that no one else can get to. And what we want to do is we want to get fast answers to business critical information. This is true of a database too. Accelerated reporting, lower risk, simpler IT, improved agility, that I can move with the times. All of a sudden now it's tariffs. All of a sudden now the government says, well, maybe we're going to cut some of your grants. The university has to be what? Agile to identify new opportunities and be efficient, right? So these 6 benefits, if I looked at it, Thomas Alexander, if I looked at it, they could be used, these advantages, to any of the software that we talked about, whether it be, or the trends, whether we talked about cloud, whether I talked about AI, right? They all want to be able to do that. You agree with me, Thomas Alexander?
Yes, ma'am.
You got it? So these are the, and then how do I know I'm ready and what to look for? And you can do it. And what are the trends to watch? Look at this, Thomas Alexander. What trends are ERP? What trends are all software going to? What trends are even the cloud going to? What? Generative AI, natural language commands, right? What the phone is doing. What are the new phones? If you buy a new iPhone, what did they say they're going to have is what? AI incorporated, right? So all of this, and basically integration, and look here, cloud. They're moving away for what? Doing things on my own premises and going to cloud. But we know, Thomas, what? There could be problems with going cloud. I need to have backup maybe on my own servers and then discovering it. Okay? So that is what we have available to us. The other part, if I look at business analytics at this point and look at my PowerPoints and documents, you can see if I go to my PowerPoints and documents, you have a good way also to study is by reviewing the PowerPoints and documents. And you can see here, if I have any of these, I have the chapter that you needed to finish for today on business analytics. And basically, if I think about business analytics, these are the keys that you need to know. I need to know what is descriptive statistics, what is predictive statistics, and what is prescriptive statistics. Important for number 4, 5, and 6. And basically, you will see then, Peyton, the same idea that managers need IT support, and managers are going to do what? Need help from agents, could be AI agents. And sometimes the problem is very structured that I know in advance. Sometimes it's half structured and sometimes it's unstructured. And basically when I think about it is what's unstructured, like negotiating, things that maybe you need more human interaction, recruiting, buying, lobbying. And we're getting, in this case, that business intelligence, that artificial intelligence is going to help with unstructured. Unstructured would be video analysis. Now, a lot of times, what do we have? Vision. We're going to have AI vision, where I've been reviewing a lot of software that not only for the blind that will tell them what's around them, but basically allow me to see my screen, tell me what it's about, see my environment, have the AI tell me about. So if you look at this graph right here, This is key. And let me go over this chart for you for today. We start on this end, and let me just do this of the slideshow. And let me do right here that everybody sees this. This is key. I start with a business problem. And then what I have to do is I have what I call data management. What does data management mean? I bring data in to analyze. The data could be from my internal organization. For instance, it could be my student data that I have, or what types of students basically, this could be my business problem, could be what students should I recruit? And my internal data could be what students have already applied. It could be basically based on students from other that have not applied or have rejected us. Could be big data that I could get on video, other parts, ways. And then what I have to do is I have to clean the data. Now, you remember in this case, Peyton, you remember data warehouse? We talked about that term last time. And data warehouse was a place after we got real live data, we put it into a data warehouse, meaning that the data, Peyton, this is a good quiz question again for you, or test question, is a data warehouse real-time or historical? What do you think, Peyton?
Didn't it take real time, but then put it into the data warehouse so that it becomes historical?
Perfect. Excellent answer. So if I asked you, Peyton, data warehouse is historical data because it's no longer in the inventory. It is historical, so we can do some manipulation on it. And once we get that data warehouse that is historical, now we want to get a way to make sense out of the data. So these are 3 ways that we're going to do it. One is descriptive, one is predictive, and one is prescriptive. The question when we ask for descriptive is what has happened? Basically, what has happened? So Peyton, is that the past, present, or future? What has happened? If I asked you what has happened, Peyton, would you say that's past, present, or future?
The data would be in the past.
Past. Perfect. So it's basically ways in which I can make that data, describe that data. So let's even think about the data for the exams, right? Think about the data I have. I have what? All of your assignment data, right? Let's even think about you, right? Let's even go to you. Do you have the data so far, how well you've done in the class, Peyton?
I do, yeah, as
Yes.
of right now.
Right now, some of the things haven't been graded yet, but you basically know how you did on the first exam. You know how you did so far on attendance. You know how you've done on individual assignments. Perfect. So those are questions in which we can then get and then basically presented in a figures, presented in a presentation tool. So you could go to Blackboard and look at my grades and see basically a description of your grades. True? Yes. And then what do I have? I have all the students, right? So I could basically, my dashboard is going to look different from yours, Peyton, because I just don't have one. You remember we talked about the need to know. I have all of my students. I don't have all your records of Peyton, what you did in other classes, only what you've done in my class. And I can have it on the dashboard. I can have it by graphs. I can have it by reports. You with me, Peyton? You're doing an excellent job. Now, what would you want to know is what could happen. Is that what could happen? Present, past, present, or future? Peyton. Predictive.
I guess you're
What
looking
could
at
happen?
past data.
But
Past data
the
to find
word what
future
could
data?
happen, is that based, that question, is that a pat? We want to know about the past, present, or future?
The future.
Future, right? You know what it's happened. You know what your, let's say your average is more or less now, right? So what do we want to know now is what could happen in the future. So we could do different statistical techniques of what could happen, right? You could we can basically assess how you will do in the future. If you've done well now, right, we can assess maybe that you'll continue doing well. We hope so, right, Peyton?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't done so well, right? And I can say, hey, and what is well from this student? Every time, if I get any email, it's never at the end of the semester, Peyton, it's never happened to me. And I've had hundreds of students that has ever asked me, Dr. Rush, I see that I got a B on my report, and I really deserve a C minus. You think I ever had something like that happen? I have never gotten it. It's usually what? Why didn't I get an A? Right? So we can think about it. If I don't have an A yet, if I'm not in the 95th percentile, is basically, this could be, we can guess 80% sure, Peyton, if you have a 95 average now, that you probably, if you continue doing well, right, you probably earn an A in this class. But let's say I don't have a 95, and then people say, well, can I still get an A? It's basic. A prescriptive analytics means, what should we do? It means basically, what can I do to gain access of what I want? I basically desire getting an A, and it just won't happen by magic, but it may be that if my project is worth 25%, I better make sure then that I meet all those criteria that they said. So I need to have 25%. So you think about prescriptive analytics is like when you go to the doctor and they say, this is what I think you have, right? I think you have strep throat. And they say, what could happen? They say, I think you can, you'll get better in 2 weeks, but what should we do? I think you should take, let's say, these antibiotics, or you should go through this type of therapy. And then this becomes an actionable business or recommendation. And what are the underlying technologies? This was for us, but we can think about it is powerful GPUs, higher volume storage, increasing faster broad internet, neural networks, machines, and deep learning. So this is the key. This is called descriptive. So this is the key towards this chapter. Predictive means basically what's going to be in the future. Prescriptive means give me an opportunity. How can I get better? What can be done to improve? That's it. Questions? So I need everybody's camera on. That makes sense, Peyton? Simple,
Does, yeah.
right? And then you can think about it. The reason I gave it your tests, your grades, is you all can relate to that, right? When we start thinking about retention and all these other things, it's hard, but you can relate on your level, right? Student level, and then you can raise it to an instructor level, and then you can raise it to a department level, and then the school of business, and then what? On an ERP, it would be, I want to know what? The entire university, right? We basically, have you ever heard that universities are ranked? We're, number 10 or number 1 or in an MBA or in business or undergrad. How do they do it? It's basically looking at it. How do they improve in rankings? You think anybody wants to go down in rankings? Of course not. right? If you have a, let's say, 4.0 next semester, do you want a 3.0? No, right? You always want, or if you have a 3.5 and you want to go to 3.8, you always want that improvement level. How do you go about doing it? We're always basically what? Looking at what we've done in the past, right, Janelle? Looking how we are in the present. And what do we want to do is basically, do we know the future? Briggs, do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? You don't even know what's going to happen at the end of the day. Nobody does. Think about, what's your major, Briggs?
Finance.
Finance. What are they doing all the time is what? Forecasting, right? The whole idea of all these people, what's been happening the past week is the market's been going crazy, right? One day the biggest loss, one day the tremendous gain, right? What is the market usually like why does the market want? The market doesn't like uncertainty, right? They like to know how to plan. But guess what? Life is not just all knowing how to plan and certainty, because there's always a bit of it. So none of us know the future, but what? Some of us have what? Educated guesses. Some of us use other tools to make what? Better decisions about the future. And who succeeds, Brig, are those that can basically forecast better in finance the future. Will they be right 100% of the time? Of course not. Briggs, if anybody told you I've never lost in a trade, what would you know? That they were lying to you, or they didn't, or they never traded, right? It's just like if I say to somebody, I've never had any problems with technology. What do I always say? Either they're lying to me or they don't know what they're talking about. We all have those issues, right? But what if we can prepare, right? If we can do backups, right? If we can prepare, just like Briggs, what? I'm telling you to bring a laptop on Monday. Why? Because I want you to drag your laptop. Your phone is good enough. Why do I want you to bring a laptop and have Respondus in it?
In case the computers don't work.
Right, in case. And do you think that there's a possibility they're wrong? Of course. And have I been around that I've seen that they don't? So when you get stuck with that computer, right, that doesn't work that day, take a deep breath and say, hey, I have my laptop. Or maybe we'll go to another computer. And if not, you have that. So that's the thing of planning, and that's the idea that we're talking about in this class. Perfect. Okay. So there are a couple of notes that I want you to make sure that you do. And this you can add on, Sebastian, to make sure is that every student check their site that it will run on mobile. When you're doing Wix, there's two tabs, one for a website and one for mobile. Make sure your mobile looks good. Because most of the time, what, Lily? People look at it, what? With their phone, not with their, you agree with me? So you want to make...
I Googled my site on my phone to see how it looked. And it was weird because it, like, the menu would, like, automatically show up mobile, but it'd take a second for the desktop. So they're both like...
Yeah, so you have to worry about it. So what I want to do is, who is group 1? Sebastian?
That's Thomas's group.
Okay, so Thomas from group 1, can you share your screen? And let's look at your website, and we're going to use your group. Thomas, first just go to the audit area and go to the group so we can see what you have, Thomas. And then I'm going to use you. Your group has done a very good job. Plus, I'm going to use your group that everybody can follow, that whatever I tell your group, whether it's basically in the past, right, that you've done a good job, and in the present, but also what do you want to improve for the future, right?
Okay.
That's our idea. So from now till the time that we present, we should, on the 28th, I hope to say, hey, Thomas, your group looks great. Just do the final recording and go for it, right? That's what I hope. So if you could share your screen,
Okay. Let me,
just share, go to the audit area first. Or do you want me to do it?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
There we go.
And okay. So go to assignment group. So first of all, one of the things, everybody has to have a full domain name, which some groups do not have. Group 2 doesn't even have their domain. Oh, they have it later on, but make it that it's linkable. Okay, that it's linkable. Now go ahead and show it in another tab, your release AI. So it's perfect in the way I like they have a good. So check one is they have a full domain name that makes sense, right? AI.org. The only thing that I have a problem with is you see when your, which is nice in a way, your little animation of the buildings there for real estate, when it covers, you see that when it covers your real estate smart, we help, blah, 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 it kind of drowns out that white and black. You see where I'm talking about? Everybody
Yeah.
see that in the corner right under Real Ease AI?
Yeah.
So I would look at that, but what I really like is I listen to it, but listen to make sure that your podcast will work. And I like it, Listen Now AI podcast. You may, and then I like it here. The only thing I don't like is this gets, when this kind of starts going, maybe make it smaller or something, that background, it disturbs. Smarter Real Estate starts here. We help new and independent agents simplify their
Yep.
business using easy. Maybe even we want to shorten that a bit, but that gets lost in there.
Okay. So you're
Okay,
saying
you
make the
agree with me?
animation smaller so it's more
Or
visible?
that background, I would maybe make
Okay.
another background or put this, that real, it's right there and it's black and white and then you lose it. Like right here,
Okay.
I read it well, but
Okay.
then when it starts getting bigger, so maybe use a different background for this real estate. You can play around with it, not a big deal, but I just
Okay.
wanted to show you on that one. Then if you go down, scroll down, this is nice. Our mission is to empower. Everybody really looks good. Some of you still have, I can't believe it, you have those AI generated faces. You're not AIs, right? It's the idea that you're working with AI. So you have then Peyton, Thomas, Valentina, and Michael. So that's good. Our mission, that is good. I like it even that you said generated by ChatGPT, which is good. What we do, go scroll down. What we do, okay, these are ways. And then if you click get started, what happens? And then go all the way down. Let me just see it all the way down. Now this is the part, call our VAPI AI agent. I would also put in the number. You see that in the corner?
That's on the contact page.
Okay, but I would also put it there next to it, that they know that there's a number there. Because what
Okay.
happens when you click it now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's working because I'm
See,
sharing my
see,
screen,
and it
but
may work, and it may work with mobile, right? When you click on it, but with the website, it doesn't. So people will think it doesn't work. So at
okay.
this point, you see my point?
Mhm.
Everything, and put this in your notes, everything that you have in the website, even if you didn't do it, Ariana, and I'm just showing you, I'm not pressing you out, but everything that you have in your website, everybody in your group needs to try it out. You shouldn't be the only one, Thomas, trying this out. Everything that works, and then report it to each other. So if somebody was supposed to do that call VAPI AI agent, you want them to say, hey, it's not working, so let's put in the phone number here. Now, and then maybe we say on mobile, if you pressed it, it should work. And then if you go get assistance from our AI FastBot, click on the FastBot. And in this case, you want to say, like, who is on your team? ask the question. And then you want to check, did it come up? Yes, it's coming up with the right people. And you want to be able to ask a number of questions. And in this case, you want to be able to do that. The same thing with your call VAPI AI. When you ask who's on our team, it should be able to describe that. What services do you have as well? And then go all the way back up. And what does it say? Get started. What happens when you press get started? All the way down. Our services. Okay, this is free offerings, our services. So click down. Okay, this one started April 10th. Why are we putting it that it started already? Why not put it in the future? I would change that. AI property investment strategy, I would have it start in the future, not in the past. So if you click on it, you want to be able to click on everything, view it. Great to have a description, right? Now, in this case, if you had AI properties, I would say that it would be online rather than on stand, right? And then what would be interesting to do to really get it to be working well is make it as a Zoom session. And let me give you a hint on it. On the Zoom, if you look up, if you cannot, and let me emphasize this, you cannot use the University of Miami Zoom to interact with AI, with Wix. You want to repeat that, Thomas?
Okay.
What did I just say?
I'm sorry. There's some background noise. It's hard to hear you, but you were saying that I should have the Zoom window pop up for
No,
when
I'm
I'm
not
actually
that
on here.
Zoom. I say what I would say is make it as a Zoom meeting and create it as a Zoom conference on a certain date, on certain dates, and interact with Zoom. Now, Sebastian, do we have the instructions on how to connect with Zoom?
I don't think so.
I think so. Look on the, try to find out, and we'll see on Wednesday, okay? Put a note there that we want to connect with Zoom. So one of
Okay.
the things that'd be nice is, one, it should be in the future. And
Okay.
two, I would make it, say it's online via Zoom.
Okay.
Makes
Okay.
sense, right? Because
Okay.
these are
That works.
realtors do, and then later on, if they want to meet you personally, but there's no reason you're using AI, there's no reason for right now. And
Right.
you get a bigger crowd, aren't you?
Right.
Then later on, you can say, hey, we'll do a hybrid crowd that will meet at a certain place, and then we'll also have hybrid other people coming in.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Doesn't that make sense?
hmm
So I'd be doing that for each of you. And then here, marketing material for your interest. This is 1 hour. This is what? Book now, and this is one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I would state some and check our availability, and we'll do it via Zoom or something like that. And then check to see, does it work?
Okay.
And see, do you get the background? Have somebody else do that availability at 5 p.m. See if we book it, try it out. So all these things in your recordings, when you do your physical record, your recording after I give you feedback, is you want to make sure all of this works.
Right.
I'll show the
Right.
front end and the back end. And when it
Right.
doesn't work, then you want to fix it. Okay, go back. Okay, and then what's the next one? You get 45, same kind of thing, I guess. AI agents, right?
Right.
Testimonials, let's go down. And if they want to, and then here, real estate. This I don't like.
Okay.
I want this to be real. I don't want to have fraud here. I don't want to make up stories.
Okay.
Put this in your notes, is that you could say possible, maybe you could say potential sponsors who you would like to sponsor this with.
Okay.
I would call these ideas potential sponsors, but get out the fake testimonials.
Okay. Okay.
You agree? You want
No,
this to
yeah,
be,
completely.
you want this to be real. You want to have what? I already have doubts. That's why I want you to even give everything free in the beginning.
Right. Right. Okay.
And then AI tools. Okay, great. So you've described this. This is very nice. Everybody see this? Where he has Chat GPT and he gives the idea of what they're going to do. He explains what's going to happen here. That's beautiful. Using Copilot for real estate, you should Canva, you give a live demo, Notebook LM, how they can use it. And hopefully I didn't listen, but hopefully these demos really pertain to real estate. And
Perfect.
then maybe I have another section you can take notes on is asking not only to get in touch with us, but give us ideas on what you'd like to see
Okay.
in the future, or what topics of webinars. We want to give webinars out. We even want to invite others from the community or others around the world. What are your issues that you would like to see addressed?
Okay. Okay, perfect.
But an excellent, everybody agree? Really? Basically, I applaud this group. That
Thank you.
comparatively, you have all this built in rather than having links.
Mhm.
You've had it built in already. Everybody
Yeah.
see that? You have your fast spot already hooked in. You're giving credit to the fast spot and you're getting real estate. And then let's contact us. And the contacts here, that's okay. Call, go up a little bit. I say, in this case, call our VAPI AI agent, you
Okay.
know. And in this case, they said they can call it and then try this out on your mobile.
It
And
works.
you
Yeah.
see, when you try it on your mobile, it doesn't look so good. And really what happens with your mobile is you may want to even take out that background, that first in the very top, that background where it looks good on a computer. It doesn't look good on a mobile. That building, that it's kind of like interactive. They're building the building.
Yeah.
And then you have here, you have that Thomas Bohm Miami.edu. And then you'll see this. And then at the end, where do you have? And then I would put agent there. Then you'll have the
Okay.
real estate headquarters go down. And then you need to populate. I looked at your social media. You need to click on one of them, the social media. It's up a little bit. Okay. And the Instagram. Okay. No more scripts, writing stress. We help new agents. Very nice. And did you talk about, and then you have followers. It's good. At least you have the 4 followers, real estate. You talk about what software you use to post this.
ChatGPT.
Okay. Do you say that?
No, should we?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say, help
Okay.
by, ChatGPT.
It says it in every post. Like at
It
the
does
bottom,
where?
it
Oh,
says image made by either
Okay,
Canva
where?
or ChatGPT.
Okay, great. I don't see. Where does it say image made by? Oh, made
Like,
with chat. Oh, perfect.
yeah.
Okay, great. Fantastic. I would make it more, maybe make a little, reels or something like that to make it. But first of all, I love it. And the way that you show it nicely. You took some time to it. AI for agents, listing descriptive marketing. And then you kind of reply nicely. Everybody in your group should reply to it. I'd make even some video reels or something like that, short little ones, and then you can reuse them to your other media sites.
okay. Okay.
But really nice. You've
Perfect.
gotten it. Now you just gotta hone in. I think the major things is with the phone number, not a big deal. You got the phone number, it works.
Yep.
And then the other thing, here, enter your message. And maybe, I don't know, on these contacts, if you can do it, is give us your thoughts or something like that. I don't know if you can add, with name, email address, and enter your message. Maybe something, let us know, maybe in the front of it, let us know if you have any ideas on how we can help you, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Great.
But the only part that you need to do is go back to home is I think take out that background, or use
Okay.
another,
I
use a
think we're
picture,
gonna make it
something like that. Use a
smaller, or
smaller,
like
use a
here this
static,
frame.
maybe picture, because you want to, your website does not look, and then you may want to go back in the editor and look at it as mobile. You know,
Okay.
you'll have two tabs on the top where what it says on the website.
Do we have to worry
and
about the mobile
top
app one, or just the desktop?
This look, you know what I mean? But you want to check to make sure that it looks good on mobile as well. But I take that
Okay.
one out.
Okay.
But other than
Okay.
that, I think you don't have a lot. You know what I mean? I'd beef up more about your free offerings and your social media. Get a little bit more snazzy, a little bit more engaging. But other than
Okay.
that, I think it's wonderful. I love
Okay,
the
great.
pictures. Did a great job.
Thank you.
So you can
Appreciate it.
share. Okay, so who was in your group, Thomas? You want to introduce them?
Yeah, I had Valentina, Michael, and Peyton.
Okay, and what were each of us? So, Valentina, what did you do and for the project?
I focused on all the three social media pages.
Okay.
And then we also all did individually one of the demo videos per
Good.
person.
And that should be, and it seems like the group is now working well, you know, of getting it was a little bit slow in the beginning. We can really get it, and that each of you can shine, and that each of you should be able to say, hey, this is what I did not, you know, I talked about, you know, I participated in. What did you do? Because one of the things, let me just tell you, is you'll have a slide at the end listing, and that'll be for me of what each person did in the project. Plus, you will be required to do a peer review at the end of this, at the end, after you finish all your recordings, and you will detail what you've done for the project, what other people have done for the project, grade yourself and grade others. And you will be penalized if you do not grade yourself and others accurately. That means I've had slacker groups that they had a better score than the best groups, right? And that doesn't count. And if you haven't put in your fair share, your grade will be less than others, right? Because that makes sense, Lily, right? That in that case, even people can't go by and say, hey, the project was fantastic. I didn't do anything, but the project was good. So I was there in spirit, rooting everybody on. And it's a shame too. We're not focused. And what the thing I was telling you, Thomas, you can take this. That's why you also want to make it the best it can be. You don't want to make it, it's vague over there what kind of services. But I would like you to see then, and even you can research it, is how do I connect, make a Zoom conference call with Wix. For Wednesday, see what you find, Thomas. This is your assignment with your group, is how can you create a connection? What is it, an API, right, Thomas? Not with Zoom and YouTube, but Wix and Zoom. But this is the key, Thomas. You have to get your own Zoom. Because what? You have to be the administrator. Just like YouTube, you couldn't use your Gmail account from University of Miami. Why? Because you're not the administrator. Am I the administrator of Zoom? No. Remember how a number of those features were blanked out? It wasn't me that wanted to blank out all the AI. I wanted to use a lot more AI features in Zoom. The university prohibited me from doing it and prohibited you. So you have to get, so some things you won't be able to do. You won't be able to stream live in a personalized Zoom because there's some features, but you'll be able to connect. So see, Thomas, it'd be interesting to see if you can make the connection between Zoom, and that will add additional pop. Hey, come to our session. Everybody can get onto Zoom.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then
sounds good.
and then your meetings will make sense. Rather than one, you don't want to have pass. Oh, I missed it. So now what am I going to do? And then you can even put a note there. We'll have ongoing meetings. Will be ongoing topics that they don't
Okay.
have to think if I can't make it in April. And you can even put they'll be recorded,
Okay.
right?
Perfect.
And then you can have a section. Doesn't it look good? It's like everything that we know, right? I
Yeah.
can't make it at that time. Well, that's the beauty. Can't make it at that time. We have it recorded. Then get back to us.
Right.
Do you know how to
Perfect.
record? Of course you do. Do you know how to post the link? Of course you do.
Perfect.
Maybe before you didn't, but now you do. I just want to show you, you guys know so much now that you're almost taking it for granted of how
Yeah.
much you can give. Okay, perfect. So in this case, you want to put in the chat, Sebastian, the attendance. I'll stay with people afterwards. Kudos to this group one. They kind of were a leader here. Everybody can see then for what you need to have, what your group is lacking. You should be able to check out everything that's on your website. Make sure it makes sense, right, Peyton? Make sure that everything is working. If it isn't, go back to that person that was supposed for FastBots. It shouldn't be just because I did FastBots, you shouldn't look what I've done, right? It's your responsibility too. It's your name is on that project too. And you want to. And that's how it is in a group. We all kind of check. So I have to, I think, don't I have to make you co-host? Right? You want me to share, Sebastian? Okay, perfect.
All good, my bad.
Well, you're better, you're quicker than me. 9902. So if you can be so kind and put that in the chat, 9902. I'll be available for anyone that wants to speak to me. On Wednesday, we'll do a review. Andrea will do a review for the exam, plus I'll answer any questions about your projects. I'll add additional things for your project. Anything else, Andrea, that I need to mentioned? Otherwise, you can stop sharing, Sebastian. You put it in the chat. So stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. We'll do review, right? And Thomas, you'll now know. Alexander, you got what you need to do, right?
Yes,
Yep,
ma'am.
we're
Still have
good. Perfect.
questions.
Thank
Keep up the good work. Good attitude, good work goes together, right?
you. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Really appreciate all the feedback. We have all our,
Yeah, you got
notes and
the
everything, so
idea
we'll be
that you
good.
finished early gives you
Yeah.
a heads up that you get more feedback earlier. But
Perfect.
what also is nice, Thomas, is you've given away that when I give you feedback, it's really to everyone else too. It's,
Okay.
You
Okay.
could
Great.
then, now, Thomas, given that feedback, you could take anyone else's group and give them feedback too. You could almost like pass it on. You say, what's
Okay.
missing, right? That's
Right.
how being a teaching assistant in training, you can do that you can even have other people, hey, you had issues here, they can contact you even, and say, what's missing. So that maybe we may want to mention that on Wednesday, since you're one of the teaching assistants in training that you volunteered, that, hey, you'll be happy, you won't do their work for them. But if they have that little thing, hey, my FastBot didn't work, or, didn't know how to embed that video. When
Perfect.
spread the kindness, when they
Perfect. Will
share,
do.
then they'll share when you need help.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Dr. Rush. Really appreciate all the feedback today. It means a lot.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and
Perfect.
thank you. It's like
Thank you.
mutual. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right. I'll see you Wednesday then.
See you Wednesday. Okay.
Bye.
Okay. So, what do we have? We have Andrea and Henry together. Is that it? And Brandon. What is your issue, Thomas?
I sent you an email like a week ago asking basically if I could redo my first like one of the old audit assignments because I have a 0 in.
And what was
And
the
like
audit assignment on?
it was the
First of all, let me stop recording. Nobody needs to